What is up, everybody? CP and SJ with you again for another week of picks here on Every Day We're Covering. We're into, well, I guess, what is technically the final week of the regular season for college football because we always have that late Army Navy matchup. And then we're also getting into bowl season. So we've got some bowls on the slate to pick here for you this week as well. You kind of always get to this time and you wonder, do you have enough games to even pick and talk about? But the schedule actually matches up pretty good here this time around. And of course, as we've talked about, SJ, we're also excited for the fact that we're going to mix in those playoff games here pretty early too.
Yeah, we don't have to wait too long to get going with we know the games everyone's kind of zeroed in on. But hey, man, anytime there's a game to pick or watch, we're gonna be right there. So let's go ahead and get it cracking.
Let's get it rolling. Let's get to that first one. Of course, a lot of folks have strong feelings about this game just because of what their family history is, one way or another, with the old armed forces battle there between Army and Navy. And it's right now 39 and a half points. I think the total showing. I was showing Army as a 6.5 point favorite in this game, a 2 o'clock kickoff there on Saturday. And SJ, if I'm going with the family, I would be going with Navy because that's where most of my crew served
Hmm.
there during the war, and my grandfather served during the World War II stuff going on. But I'm gonna have to, I guess, secede to my thoughts of who the better football team is this
Yeah.
time. I'm
Sorry,
going with
family, got to make some money. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, fam. I just think Army's the better football team
Yeah.
here. Obviously, very impressed with the way that they played that game last week. They're kind of wiping the floor with Tulane. That's a team that Tulane that handled Navy. So I just think that Army's probably the better team, and they should be motivated. They've obviously had a great season. Didn't maybe get the ultimate shot to maybe get in that playoff like we had talked about for a long time, but still, they're going to be ready to go for this one like they always are, and that's who I'm rolling with. How about you?
For sure, Army should roll in this game, and but being as I mean, the rivalry of all rivalries, is it not? I mean, come on. So that makes me a little nervous. And we've seen a lot of these games here within the last week or so, and especially the conference championships. It's like, who saw that coming? Basically, was kind of the reaction to a lot of those games. Not all of them, but a good majority of it. And so for that case, I'm going to go ahead and stick with that total. I actually was able to play it at 39. But in my mind, I do think Army's going to roll in this game. They put up 28, 35 points, even, somewhere around there. We'll be in good shape to hit that number. Navy just got to put up a touchdown or two, and I think they could probably do that. I'm with you that I do think Army should win pretty easily, but I'm just a little skeptical after last week. So I'm going to play it safe and hit that total over 39 points.
Yeah, I like that play as well. And I guess if I was going to be the hardcore, not root for the other side, that's what I should have went with as well. But no, yeah, it should be hopefully at least interesting. It usually is. I mean, that game usually has a few wrinkles up its sleeve, and of course, everybody just loves the kind of the scene and all the pomp and circumstance that surrounds it. It kind of encompasses everything that we love about college football too,
Mhm.
because you have a lot of that tradition type stuff. Singing the fight songs, all the cadets there. It's just kind of that cool type of atmosphere.
Well, I mean, yeah, you figure most of the crowd's like students. There, it's a different type of student, but it's like that. So, can you imagine if they had just like a whatever major conference game and it was like all students in the crowd? How
Yeah.
wacky that would be! And you kind of get a sample of this. And I think we mentioned it on the pod a few weeks back. Just it's always cold as hell too when they play this game. So I'm expecting nothing less. It's probably going to be a real kind of one of them hard hitting, beautiful, like picturesque winter football afternoon. So looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, I think more often than not, you usually see some snow flurries flying in this
Mhm.
game. We'll see if that comes to fruition this time around. There is another game on Saturday because the bowl season actually does get started on Saturday. And of course, fittingly, it's the Salute to Veterans Bowl. It's being played in Montgomery, Alabama. 8 o'clock kickoff, so it'll be later then. You can watch the Army Navy, then sit down and enjoy that bowl game. South Alabama I have it as an 8 point favorite against Western Michigan. And SJ, what are you looking at here in this game?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with the favorite. But the way these games have played out, a couple 6-6 teams, it's hard to that spread seems a little bit heavy considering that essentially to me it'd be a coin flip, not knowing what you're gonna get. And we talk about these MAC teams; they're always ready to throw a wrinkle at you and go something crazy. So I'm going to take South Alabama, but I'm just going straight up money line. I'm not even messing with the points on my end, just because this is one. It's hard to pinpoint here. And bowl season, might as well say it now. Get out of the way. You just really don't know what you're going to get. Like in a good way, in a bad way, with players opting out, transferring, coaches changing jobs, or maybe kind of being on the hot seat there, and whatever the case may be. So this is definitely one of those that's who knows what you might would end up playing out, but we'll go ahead and take the favorite at least, just straight up though today at this pick.
All right. I'm going to, I guess, take a chance and go with South Alabama laying the 8. And that's only because South Alabama quarterback Gio Lopez decided that he was going to tweet out a little not safe for work clip from Wolf of Wall Street announcing he ain't going anywhere and he's staying with the Jaguars and playing in this game too. So that maybe will fire him up. That's what I'm counting on. Extra motivation from that stuff.
Cam, that says locked in. There's no other way to say it besides that. So
exactly. All right. So that's the Salute to Veterans Bowl. We'll move on then. Next game will be on Tuesday for bowl slate, December 17th. This is the Frisco Bowl down there in Texas. 8:00 is the kickoff, and it's kind of a little bit of a traditional old matchup. It seems like every year Memphis is playing some Big 12 team in a bowl game. That's how it works out. Typically it's on their home field. It seems like they host the Liberty Bowl about every other year, if not every year. But this one they do get to go somewhere else. West Virginia. I have West Virginia as getting 4.5 points here in this game. And I don't know, this is going to be an interesting one. I was a little bit hesitant really to go one way or another, but and of course, the question mark in this game, just like some others that we'll talk about, is the coach isn't there anymore. Right. How does that affect the team? Are they motivated? Are they not? It's kind of been a coin flip in recent history whether or not teams have played well with an interim coach. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's no real trend either way, I don't think here. What I'm banking on in this one, though, I'm going to give West Virginia a shot, and especially because they're getting some points, just because I do like the tough competition that they played in the non-conference. They had that tough game against Penn State. They played Pitt. They've been in, of course, a lot of tough Big 12 games, which was kind of a battle type conference with a lot of teams that were kind of on your level to play against. Now it's not the season that you expect out of a West Virginia either, but the fact that they're getting some points here and the fact that Memphis isn't playing a home game for once in a bowl game, I'm going to give West Virginia a flyer. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, our thought processes are very similar as far like the coaching changes. That's the big thing always. Like, who knows? And we just mentioned what kind of team you're going to get from that. Could rally the troops, or it could be like, who knows? We might all be gone in a couple of days, anyways. With the way the transferring is these days, I do think though that on paper, just looking at it, you'd think West Virginia's definitely played a tougher schedule, but who knew Memphis was a 10-win team unless you're locked into what I'm saying? Like, unless you're locked into that league or you're a fan of that team. So I think they can cover. I'm going to go ahead and give Memphis the nod. I also will differ on the pick, but the way we're kind of looking at it is very similar. I just think that the coach, lack of a coach, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I know that they're going with Rich Rod again, but he won't be coaching this game. But what do you call it? I do think that that's going to be too much for them to overcome, especially in a bowl game. And the last thing is we better see an iced coffee bath here at the end for the Scooters Bowl. That's
true.
That's got to be a given, right? I know they talked about the first year they sponsored like get a coffee shower. We'll go ahead and go iced coffee, or maybe like a latte, throw some holiday flavor in the eggnog latte, something like that.
There you go. Yeah, let's get it. Yeah,
we gotta do something. You can't let Duke's Mayo have all the fun.
Exactly. Yeah, probably stay away from the scalding hot stuff. But
you were trying to lose the game in that case. I don't want to win.
Yeah, interesting. I always find it cool that this game is played too, just because of the location. Like, I don't think many people around the country understand like how gigantic that Dallas Fort Worth metroplex is, and Frisco is kind of one of those gigantic suburbs to the north there. And they've got obviously a huge stadium there to be able to host. So that'll be an interesting game to take a look at. Moving on to Wednesday, December 18th, we've got a couple of games to pick here. First off, the Boca Raton Bowl. Probably wouldn't be a bad one to have to get
No,
slated to
no,
go
not at all.
to.
I'll take that. It's about 30 degrees outside right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, hop on the plane for that one. James Madison and Western Kentucky. And I've got James Madison laying 9.5, and it looks like that total. I can't even read my own handwriting, but I think it's up there around 52. Is that right?
Yeah, 52.5 is what I'm seeing. Probably give or take a half point like always. So 52 around there.
Yeah, 4:30 kickoff for this one. Just for the simple fact that Western Kentucky let me down and play like trash, and they've lost some of their players apparently too. I'm going to go with the old boys at James Madison to lay that 9.5 and win this thing going. I think they're probably the more motivated team in this situation too. I mean, especially a team you talk about, how much love they got the year before. Their coach leaves, takes half the team with him. You're probably pretty motivated yourself then to go out there and prove to the world, hey, we're still around. We're still playing good football. Yeah, I'm gonna go with James Madison here in this one.
I'm with you. We're lockstep on this one. And just I can't get that. That was terrible last week. I know it is what it is with these conference championship games, but I just don't see overcoming. And a lot of times between your into your regular season, whether it be the final game or a conference championship, you have a little bit of a build up to your bowl game. But in these teams, situations, basically like week 15,
next week,
you know what I mean? It just goes right into it. So there's not really a break there. So I don't think they don't kind of have that recovery time. Maybe get a mental break if they needed one after that freaking butt kicking they took last week. I don't think it's there, and I just think James Madison's better too. I got 9, so I didn't have to mess with the hook on that one. But either way, I think James Madison win by double digits easily. I think this should be it could be another long night for Western Kentucky as it was last week.
We were wondering last week too about that Jacksonville State trick play motivation stuff there at the end of the game. Maybe Rich Rod had a quota he had to hit to get the West Virginia job.
Hey,
they told him,
what? We said like he has trying to prove a point. Hey, maybe that was his. There were some talks in place already, and he was doing a little bit of a on tape audition or putting some of his resume on film there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I still got it. That's what it was called. He wrote that on the little video cassette and mailed it up to Morgantown, yeah, right to the coal mines.
Right to the coal mines, yeah. Put it on the PRT. Next one we'll go to here is the LA Bowl. We've got our old boys, the running Rebs there at UNLV. Trying to redeem themselves after that tough loss to Boise State. They'll take on Cal. Kind of an intriguing matchup a little bit here. SJ, where are you going with this one?
Yeah, I think we might be going down the same lines here. UNLV is one of those teams that's not only have we kind of enjoyed watching them, we're not just going to pick because we like a team. Like we want to win. We're trying to get the right picks, get all the much value as we can. In this case, I do think it's the right pick is UNLV with that, but I'm going to take the points that 1.5 they're getting. I might, someone wants a little bit more. Go ahead and take the money line. They're just lower plus 100 or so, like 110, 105, depending where you play it at. I think UNLV, this is a team that I don't think the coaching change will affect them as much as some other teams. They've kind of been through it a little bit here in the last couple of years, just a lot of transfers. Their quarterback leaves and they don't seem to miss a step. He's starting at USC, so obviously it wasn't just like some used up talent that would just kind of like hanging on, like he could still play. And they just, and then the 3 games in this year, what the guy says, I'm not getting my NIL money and I'm freaking out of here. And then they just carry on. So I don't think I understand, it's tough to lose a coach. That's a little bit of a higher, a little bit of a bigger loss than, a player, but he's not on the field. So I think these players have enough a mental, mental strength, and they've kind of overcome a little bit when it comes to that type of thing. So I think that won't be as big of an issue. And honestly, Cal's just kind of down the stretch. They just kind of I don't want to say they mailed it in, but they just kind of were surviving and hanging on. They didn't do much to impress the second half of the season, considering how well they were how well they started at the beginning of they look like, ooh, this might be a team to challenge for the conference title, and they didn't come close to that.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good point, because they kind of let us down if you were banking on that early mindset. If that, might have got you a couple weeks there with that Cal team, the way they, like you said, started and then went downhill. I think you're right. It does show something that you were already able to overcome, a controversial situation in your season, so to speak. And now your coach obviously is gone. So with Odom going to Purdue, but yeah, they'll be motivated. Again, another team that wants a little bit of respect for being one of those smaller, conference schools that has played really good football and beaten some really good teams. That's also part of their resume. And I think another factor here in this game is the fact that these just got a good offense. I mean, you look at the numbers; they're like the 14th best offense in the country this year, according to the stats. So they can put up points, and then Cal's got some transfer issues too. It sounds like there's a couple guys I think that are moving off the line for sure, and that's never a good thing to have happen any point in the season, but especially at the end of the year. So yeah, I like it too. I'm going to go with UNLV, and like you said, I may be tempted to go to that money line if you can get a little plus money on this one too.
Well, with Callan, I believe the quarterback was they intends to is like the thing you got to watch now because it intends to enter the portal is like that's like the buzzword now. So I mean, I guess that's just like the way of being like I need more money or I'm out of here. That's the way I'm reading it. So I mean, whatever it is, what it is. But yeah, if you lose, if someone does, they're obviously not going to play in the bowl game. I guess I would think you'd have it decided by now, being the games in a couple days or a few 4 or 5 days here, but. They'll sort it out either way. I don't think that'll matter too much either way. I think UNLV, like you said, is just the better team.
Yeah. So that's the first round of games that we got here coming up until we'll, of course, be delivering you picks again the following week. There is one game on that Thursday that we, may or may not have included with the New Orleans Bowl, but it's not exactly a over tantalizing matchup. Georgia Sam Houston, but still, obviously, like you said, football, we'll be watching it. But those are the picks we're going to give to you here this week. So
maybe we'll tweet something out for you, get a little, be a little, maybe have some vacation time, be sitting at home. Let's go ahead and make a couple picks. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is the nice thing too about the upcoming holidays. We'll be a little more time to focus on that stuff too. Sometimes in the, you got the damn commitments of real life with the job and stuff. You forget to do that stuff sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have a little more time to do that here over the holiday season. That'll be fun. And we'd love for you to interact with us there as well. Maybe you're going to have some more time yourself, being able to enjoy the holiday season. So hit us up on Twitter. You see the handles there. And be able to interact with us if you like a pick or if you like a holiday beer that you stumbled upon. We'd certainly love to know about that too. Have time to do that also. And then we would love it if you would, of course, subscribe, get the notifications here on this YouTube channel so you get these picks every week. And then also, of course, the podcast, like and share the podcast, available on all the major platforms. Our main host is at Spotify, but we're on all of them, whether you're an Amazon guy, an Apple guy, or whatever the case may be. You just search up the name of the show every day we're covering, and you'll be able to track us down. So we hope that you enjoy it. We hope you have a great start here to the bowl season and have the fun watching that good old traditional Army-Navy game this weekend as well. That's SJ Munoz. I'm Chris Parks. Thanks for joining us for another week of picks here on Every Day We're Covering. We'll see you next time for some more covers.